All off season long, we kept hearing about that Notre Dame running back duo. How you going to stop Jeremiah Love? How you going to stop Jadarian Price? They're going to run wild on Miami. Not only did Miami keep them bottled up, the Hurricanes outrushed Notre Dame en route to that 27-24 victory.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, and yes, there is such a thing. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC, and host of Post Game on the Miami Hurricanes radio network. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Mario Cristobal just collected his biggest win as Miami Hurricanes head coach. This won't be the last, but this was a mega win against the sixth-ranked team in America. Hurricanes were 2.5-point underdogs at home. They grinded out last night. By the way, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase on this loaded episode. And by the way, we are live, so smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We'll talk about what this victory means for the season because, you know, what a lot of people out there were handicapping what's Miami's win-loss record going to be. A lot of them were assuming Miami was going to lose that game last night. So we just turned the expectations on their heads. Miami beat Notre Dame at their own game in a lot of ways, not just the running back situation, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Miami's top performers. And even though it's not Tuesday, I had to bring in our guy, and Bruce Warner, as we always do, we were texting each other during the game, some really good early on, some concerns in the fourth quarter, a lot of relief after that thing was over. But Miami gets it done 27-24 and earns, again, Mario Cristobal's biggest win back at his alma mater.
Yeah, and I've been saying all offseason that this was a must win, and a lot of people said, no, it's not, which I understood. It was not an ACC game. I get it. But it was a big game. It's a big game for this program. We have joined the Ohio State beat Texas. Clemson lost, right? Alabama got destroyed by Florida State. And we take on a Notre Dame team. I think the spread went up to 3 or 3.5 just before game time. But we did exactly what you said. They stopped the running game. The defense, which is what we were talking about all offseason, is better. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah. All 11 of them are better, and they rotated guys in and out constantly. We were worried. I was worried. I'll say me. I was worried. A lot of people complain. I worry this. I was worried about the wide receivers. They look like veterans to me. They look really good. And the kicking game, I was worried about it. I was thinking Austin was going to be the kicker, but he wasn't. And this Davis kid, he crushed that field goal. That would have been good from 60 easily. So, you know what? A lot of positives, a couple of negatives. We'll get into that. I've been getting calls. I got McGuire called me. Caesar called me. Guys are calling me. And it's so exciting. I'm just so thrilled to have that victory. I'm almost like calm because for months, you and I have been talking about this game. And it's over, and we beat Notre Dame. Now, will they drop out of the top 10? Who knows? Probably not. What are they going to do with Bama? Has any polls come out yet? Did you see?
No, I think they come out, I want to say Tuesday, that they're going to come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, because we still have a couple more games today, like North Carolina plays TCU tonight. So I think the polls are going to come out tomorrow. And you know something? I saw J.D. Pickell at On3 Sports made a really good point after the game. You know, Miami beat Notre Dame in ways that Marcus Freeman's Notre Dame usually beats others, right? When you talk about outrushing them, which, Bruce, it's something you and I had faith that could happen. So, I mean, we were right on this one, but if anybody outside of like you and me and a few other people who really knew Miami's roster were to say, we think Miami can actually outrun Notre Dame, anyone outside of South Florida would have said, you're crazy. Notre Dame's D-line is too good. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price are too good. So Miami holds Love and Price to a combined 78 rushing yards between the two of them. Miami as a team outruns Notre Dame 119-93. That's one aspect of beating Notre Dame at their game. Miami also wins the battles at the line of scrimmage. Miami
both
produces,
sides, Alex, both sides.
yes,
They were way more physical than Notre Dame. Notre Dame,
yeah,
to me, well, let's just cut to the chase. We were up 21-7. I thought, Caesar thought, McGuire thought, a lot of these guys that I've been talking to since last night thought it. It's even in the media. I thought that Dawson and Mario got too conservative up 21-7. Steven said to me, look, he used to be able to run the ball on 3rd and short, and the whole stadium knew he was getting the ball. But Notre Dame was stacking the box against the run. Why didn't the ball outside? Why was Lofton only involved in one play?
Yeah, I was surprised. He had one catch in the game. That was one thing that did surprise me.
The ball to him. So there's a few things that bother me about it. I mean, we won, but as we was 24-24, I kept on saying, I texted you, we should have blown them out. What happened? But that's hindsight now. But I hope they learn their lesson. You just can't sit there and do nothing for a whole quarter because you never can tell what's going to happen. Plus, it seemed to me like the refs were trying to let Notre Dame back in the game.
There were some awful calls. They like that one sequence where Malachi Toney gets absolutely mugged down the field. And I'm thinking, okay, here comes pass interference. Instead of throwing the flag on that pass interference, they found some phantom hold on Miami, and that's what they threw a flag for. There were a couple of those boneheaded calls out there. And listen,
and it ain't going to change, my friend. And everybody watching and listening knows the whole season we're going to get screwed.
Yeah.
And we can't be in that situation. So all in all, one hell of an exciting night. And I am so happy. I feel so much better now. I mean, 7 or 8 months of just keeping bottled up inside, and week after week, you and I figure out what the hell are we going to talk about this week? But the whole focus was always on this, winning this game.
Yeah, and you think about like the ways Miami beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame's own game. It was not, and by the way, you say Notre Dame's own game, but we all know this is the identity that Mario Cristobal builds a football team to win games like this. So it's Miami's identity, but not only outrushing the Irish 119-93, which nobody outside of you and me and a few others even thought could happen. Miami wins the battles at both lines of scrimmage, Bruce, like you said, and also the turnover margin. Notre Dame last year, Bruce, plus 18.
I saw that stat.
In turnover margin. They were -2 last night. Miami wins the turnover margin +2. And by the way, when you're going to win that turnover margin, testament to, everybody who touched the ball in a Miami uniform, receivers, running backs, etc., because that football was also wet at times last night. It was rainy throughout that game, so great job. And it's a huge testament to Carson Beck, who touches the football on every offensive play. The value of having a guy with his experience. He was 24-3 as a starter coming into that game. He's 25-3 now. Bruce, Carson Beck, I know, and I didn't expect him to against that defense, like light up the stat sheet and throw for 350, 400. I wasn't expecting anything like that. But Carson Beck, for what I prescribed to be my key to the game for him, is just about perfect.
Yes.
Just about perfect in that one. 205 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, made all the right decisions. Like, Bruce, not only did he not have an interception, I don't think he threw a turnover-worthy ball all game. Like, Beck was just so clinical and poised, and you could see his experience oozing out to that entire offense.
Yeah, by the way, you mentioned a few minutes ago, I think you've mentioned it twice, that everything was love this and price that and love this. And I texted you during the week. Don't remember if I said it on the show, but I told you I was able to find out that Fletcher and Lyle were pissed. They were pissed. They couldn't stand it anymore. It's all these people talked about. So you could see how they ran really hard. And Brown, wow, is that kid good? He's real. He's short, but he's a little powerhouse kid. And
I call him a bowling ball. Is what he is. He's got that low center of like he knocks over defenders like bowling pins. Shamar Brown.
Well, yeah, those guys. That running back room was upset the last 2 weeks, and you could see it. They ran really hard. I'm really proud of this team. You got to give Mario kudos. Everything from last year that was horribly wrong in yesterday's game was the complete opposite. I love the secondary, the linebackers. That Toure had some vicious hits on people, and the front four, even no matter what they did with the rotation, was in people's faces all game long. And sadly, They were not able to stop that quarterback draw many times. And I talked to Caesar about it. And I know that Damian and Jason are going to work on that, because that can't happen when you've got Lagway coming in, and then we have to go to Tallahassee and Castellanos.
That's going to be the real
he's
test, because that dude can run. As everyone saw on Saturday, Castellanos can run.
Yeah, so I've been told, and I don't know this because they're not preparing for them yet. I think they're going to put a spy on him, and it could be Torrey. They have to do something about that kid, because he could just take off, and a 3-yard loss is a turn into a 25-yard run. He's that good.
We have so much more to get to on this episode. It's the happiest Monday we've had in a long time. Miami just beat Notre Dame. Hurricanes at number 10, Notre Dame at number 6. Miami wins 27-24. I want to talk about more of the top performers when we come back. Malachi Toney at 17 years old had himself a debut. You want to keep it locked right here, my friends. We're only getting started, and we're live, so smash that like button. Tell your friends Locked On Canes is on. Join us in the live chat. We're only getting started on this brand new episode. Yeah, I talked to several folks who got their tickets to last night's game from Game Time, the only ticket app that I use. They got the best prices, the best features. I'm so excited for more college football. The tailgates. God bless all of you who were tailgating in that afternoon rainstorm yesterday. The rivalries, the energy, there's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. Folks, it's faster, easier, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've bought tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Download Game Time today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen. Make sure for your next listen, you check out the portal. By the way, I didn't watch the game with him because he was down field level taking photos, but I ran into the recruiting overlord out there, Brian Smith, who hosts the Portal podcast. It's available free wherever you get your pods and available free on YouTube. You know, Bruce Warner, someone in the live comments said, oh, Donno is still celebrating the orange out. I mean, maybe I haven't slept or changed since the game last night. I've just been on it all night, all day.
Hey, look, man, don't worry about it. We deserve this happiness. By the way, there's this guy, Chico Stick, who wrote, if Mario was aggressive and we lost, everybody would be crying. Listen, when I say they were too conservative, I'm not saying, maybe he's implying that I think they should have been throwing bombs on 3rd and 2. No. But when they're stacking the box with 6, you fake the handoff and you just throw a little 5-yard out pass to Lofton and let him take it up the field. That's what Stephen McGuire told me. That's what a lot of these guys are telling me. They got too conservative. I'm not saying throw bombs on 3rd and 2, but change it up a little bit. They knew we were going to run right up the gut, and they stopped us a couple of times. You got to get away from that. And that's where Lyle getting hurt earlier in the game hurt Miami at that position. They usually would go to him, but they didn't. So I'm okay with that. Now, what was your last comment?
Well, I mean, I wanted to get to some of the playmakers like Malachi Toney.
Yeah, incredible. That young kid, 17. My father jumped on D-Day, June 6, 1944.
17 years old, and he started, by the way, which did not surprise me. Malachi Toney starts in the slot, which means he beats out a veteran like Tony Johnson, who came in with a lot of experience, beat out 3rd-year Ray Joseph, and no disrespect to those other 2 players who are both very good, had good off seasons, but you can see why Malachi Toney is like, Bruce, this is a future NFL player. Like, this guy is uniquely special. And with the way he runs his routes and his double moves, and, the way he's able to have that wiggle to get the yards after catch and making some of those clutch catches, that 28-yard touchdown that he caught from Carson Beck was an excellent throw, because Beck had to stand in the pocket and make a beautiful throw and a beautiful read, and Malachi to actually come down with it. Like, I mean, if you just watch that game and then you find out, oh, by the way, That young man is 17 years old, should still be in high school. Yeah, I said it a week or two ago, Bruce, and it's so far we're seeing it play out that I'm expecting Malachi Toney to have the type of true freshman season that Kevin Concepcion had a couple years ago when he was with NC State. Like Concepcion's with Texas A&M now.
Right. Yeah.
But I remember like he was just the guy. Like you needed a first down, you needed a big play. It was always Concepcion. I think Malachi Toney's going to have that same sort of impact at Miami.
Yeah, I knew near the end they had two guys on him. They were running a safety over him. So yeah, that's good. The catch by Daniels is it's like wow. Incredible. And looked like the safety thought the ball was coming to him.
Yeah, was that Aiden Schuler? Like he had his hands out, like he was red. Like he thought, oh, here's an interception.
And I think he said he didn't see Daniels. So, and when I saw the throw being so high, I figured maybe it will get picked up. Hopefully he'll tip it. But wow, what a catch. That's going to be on ESPN all week long. That's probably maybe one of the greatest catches in Miami history. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Florida fans were trying to say that Vernell Brown. So Florida played against Long Island Iced-Tea University.
Yeah,
and they won like 55-0. And so it was a great catch. But Vernell Brown, I remember Miami recruited him, young receiver. Yeah. He made a one-handed grab that was really nice. But it was against Long Island, not against Notre Dame, and the Daniels catch was for a touchdown, and the Vernell Brown wasn't. So I give the edge to CJ Daniels' catch. And that's you think about the context, like Bruce, Miami's top two receivers in that game. I love this. I love this narrative because your top two receivers were a true freshman classified a year earlier, should still be in high school, 17-year-old. Who actually led the team in receptions yesterday and receiving yards, 6 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown. And then your next leading receiver is a guy who was, probably in college already when Toney was in middle school, still a 6-year senior, CJ Daniels. Like you bring him in to make plays like that. And you said it already, Bruce, like people weren't sure what to expect from Miami's receivers. They replaced their top 4 wideouts, their top 5 pass catchers from last year. I think people understand now, Bruce, why all offseason long, you and me have been hyping these guys up, that they have been playing really, really well, and there have been some competitions in that receivers room. Keelan Marion also had some important plays in that game. Josh Moore had a tough catch at one point, and now, I think this is the best defense you're going to face all year. So, from this point forward, you're going to see a lot more of these guys have big games. And I can only imagine, Bruce, what Malachi Toney is going to do against some of the other opponents on Miami's schedule. Like he go 82 yards and a touchdown against Notre Dame. Like, what is this guy going to do against USF? What is this guy going to do against Syracuse, whose defense looked really bad the other day? Like, I can't wait for all these games.
Yeah, well, let's do it one at a time. So, other than Lyle, do you know of anybody else who got injured? I don't know of anybody else.
I think Lyle's okay, by the way, because I was listening. I had the radio broadcast on, while I was at the game because I work with WQAM as well, and I think one of Josh Darrow's sideline reports, like he mentioned that Lyle was good to go and could have come back into the game, so I think he's going to be okay.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're good. Like, I think we'll find out more, I guess, later today when Mario speaks to the media in a couple of hours, but I think we avoided anything serious.
Yeah, and also you had mentioned that this is probably the toughest defense we faced all year. Well, everybody keeps saying that it might be the toughest offensive line we play. Now, if we did that to that offensive line,
right?
What's going to happen when we play some of these other teams if the defense plays like this? We got to see some guys in there that we hadn't seen much of. The 4 starters were in there a lot. We saw Blunt. He got in there. There was other defensive ends that got in there. Guys were making plays. Geary made some nice plays.
Yeah.
There was maybe 1 or 2 breakdowns in the secondary. That's communication. Other than that, I thought our DBs were all over their wide receivers, right? And
our DBs actually, Pro Football Focus grades, we graded out better than Notre Dame's corners, which again, that was another thing nobody thought could happen, right? Leonard Moore, Christian Gray, these are future first-round draft picks, everyone says. Well, Miami's group, and by the way, Damari Brown made some big time plays. He made the initial tip on what ended up being the Rueben Bain interception.
Yes.
Deontay Scott was really good in the nickel. You know, Frederic and Xavier Lucas both played really well. We also out defensive backed Notre Dame.
Yeah, but we also got some good play from Blay. He got in there a few times.
Yeah.
Justin Scott caused the fumble. He made some plays. You
Yes.
know, on that play that they got their touchdown, Notre Dame, near the end, great penetration by Moten, but he just didn't have the quickness to catch that guy, and there was nobody else helping him. Otherwise, that would have been a sack, no touchdown. The game probably would have been over. So, we saw things that we were hoping we were going to see. We did see it. All the questions that Mr. Negative, was concerned about, I think we showed that they shut me up. That's for sure. And we won the game. And I was arguing with Mark before the game because I was saying, I hope we blow them out. And he says, just win. I said, come on, Mark, we want to blow them out.
I was with Mark on that. And I told you, I'm with Mark. Just win.
Yeah, well, when it was 21-7, I'm screaming, blow them out. But it didn't happen like that. But anyway, we got the win. There's no greater feeling. We beat the team we've hated for the last 40 years. And now it's on to next Saturday night, a night game against Bethune-Cookman, which is odd. I don't know if we've ever played.
We usually do, for whatever reason. Those Bethune and FAMU games are usually 7 p.m.ers.
Really? I saw those guys at noon a lot in the last.
I mean, maybe in the old days, but in the last 10 years, usually late night. But by the way, can we talk about Rueben Bain and Akheem Mesidor? Because we gave our flowers to Miami's defensive secondary. Because another, like Bruce, I think back to all of our keys to the game before, and Miami basically executed all of those. Carson Beck being poised, taking care of the football, making big throws.
Right.
Miami's running game coming alive. I was so impressed with Marty Brown in his Hurricanes debut. But then another one of those was Miami's star pass rushers, Rueben Bain and Akheem Mesidor, needed to step up, and they did. Like, it wasn't like they were able to create consistent havoc for 4 quarters. Notre Dame's offensive line did a good job, but when the game mattered most, Bruce, that 4th quarter, especially that final Notre Dame drive when they're trying to tie it or take the lead, Rueben Bain especially and Mesidor were unfreaking blockable, and they get the sacks to preserve the game. And then, of course, we already mentioned Rueben Bain had an interception, which he returned 12 yards, and then when he got to the sideline, Jason Taylor joked to them like, hey, you couldn't take that one all the way back, Rueben? So, I mean, Rueben Bain, to me, clearly the defensive MVP. Like, you could even argue he was the MVP of the entire game. For me, it's got to be either Bain, Carson Beck, or Malachi Toney. I think it's one of those 3, but it might have been Bain.
Yeah. Well, you said on Notre Dame's last drive, that wasn't a drive. They went backwards. They went backwards.
It was a reverse.
I was a little nervous, but I figured there wasn't much time on the clock. They had no timeouts, which was really big. And I knew there was no way, like the Georgia Tech game, we weren't going to lose. It just wasn't going to happen. So all in all, I'm thrilled. You're thrilled. I hope everybody else is thrilled. We're getting lots and lots and lots of comments about this. A couple of these guys were talking about the referees, and we won, but some of those referees, they must go like this when there's a penalty on Notre Dame that they don't call. I don't know how many non-calls, not only the calls, but non-calls. My goodness.
Yeah, I just wanted to be
consistent. What are they looking at?
Because, there were times when they called these holds on Miami, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, are you sure about that? And then you see what look like obvious holds on Notre Dame where they don't even bother to throw the flag. Like, I just wanted a little bit of consistency. Someone who did give us consistency, and Bruce, I know we were worried because, again, we ran out of Borregales brothers, unfortunately. So we didn't know. And there was this kicking competition between Bert Auburn, who I had assumed Auburn would be the field goal guy, with Carter Davis being the kickoff guy. Carter Davis won every aspect of that kicking competition. He doesn't have great career percentages coming into Miami, so we were a little concerned. And then that first field goal try, which wasn't his fault because didn't even get to him making a kick, right? The snap was bad, and Dylan Joyce had to pick it up and basically, think, what am I going to do here? But then when Carter Davis got 2 opportunities, 4th quarter clutch kicks, Bruce, he drills a 38-yarder and then the 47-yard game winner, which I couldn't even watch it. Like, I was looking away at that moment. I was so nervous, but I got to give him so much credit, Carter Davis, because not only did he make his kicks, those were high pressure, clutch kicks against a big time opponent.
Yeah, and then they showed on the screen before that. What was he last year? 4 for 11 or whatever it was.
Like
That's not so good.
Not a good percentage
It's
at all.
almost like he kicked 11 from 60 yards or further, because 4 out of 11 is not good. So I didn't have much confidence. I had never seen the kid kick. And we had talked about Auburn not doing too well at the end of Texas's season last year. So all in all, you know what? We won. We won, and I'm thrilled. Yeah, I'm looking through some more of these comments in here, but we talked about the refs. Jimmy was there. He was flying high last night. He looked great. He is so into Miami. He just loves it, and he keeps saying the same thing. Of all my jobs, this is my favorite place. And of course, he had to go to Dallas. I get that. I wish he didn't. I wish Butch didn't leave. But certainly Mario is now recruiting the right people. This team played hard. They played hard they played hard when it was 0-0, when they were up 21-7, especially the defense. And at the end of the game, they were consistently in Notre Dame's face, and there was pressure on every single snap. You can't ask for anything more. They played the way we think they should be playing for the last 15, 20 years. And now they have enough talent on this team to do these things, and depth.
I like this comment from David, our guy, South Beach Dave. What a way to win, too. Dominating the trenches, physical, poised quarterback, showed his experience and accuracy, closed it out on defense. We got some Canes over here. I mean, basically what he's saying, Bruce, which was probably my biggest takeaway coming out of that game, was complimentary football, right? I mean, you talk about the big special teams plays, and it wasn't just the kicks that Carter Davis made. It was also his kickoffs going through the back of the end zone. Because Notre Dame as a return team, it's very dangerous. Don't give them that opportunity. He didn't give them that opportunity. You had Malachi Toney catching punts as a 17-year-old true freshman. He was poised, no muffs, no drops. You don't always trust a freshman for that job.
He did catch one on the 5, though. He should have let that ball go.
Well, I was wondering if he thought if he didn't catch it, if they might have been able to down it like inside the 5. I don't know.
That could happen, but you're not supposed to touch a ball inside the 10, let alone the 5.
Yeah. But still,
I'm sure they discussed it with him.
You sure? But then the complimentary football of, when your offense was basically in a phone booth in the fourth quarter, you're running conservative plays, some 3 and outs in the fourth quarter. You needed your defense to step up and make stops, and they did it when they needed it most. I know that there was, the busted coverage, the miscommunication that led to that 62-yard Notre Dame completion that set up a touchdown. But outside of that, and listen, it's hard to be perfect, especially against a team like Notre Dame, who I respect, but Miami was close to perfect on defense, and they stepped up. When we come back, guys, I want to talk about what this game can mean for the rest of the season. Because again, when most of the so-called experts were handicapping the season, they were assuming Miami was going to lose this one. So what does this win mean? You want to keep it locked right here. We got the truth teller, Bruce Warner, with us. We're riding high after a 27-24 win over Notre Dame right here on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Folks, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. I love that it's completely online. Rugiet connects you with a board-certified doctor and ships your treatment discreetly to your door. Head to rugiet.com/lockedoncollege and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/lockedoncollege and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Thank you all so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. And by the way, Locked On, we do college football season big. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts like myself. I usually make cameos on that show. A college football preview that only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. All right, Bruce Warner. I'd said this before the game that, I guess my official prediction was Miami would go 10-2 this year. But if Miami beat Notre Dame, I can talk myself into 11-1. I'm talking myself into that. And if we beat Florida, I may talk myself into 12-0, depending on how we look for this next month. But it's obvious we've got you trying to slow me down?
Hey, did you see all the celebrities there? Even Stephen A. Smith was there. He must love Miami now because he was hanging around with all our Hall of Famers and stuff.
UFC President Dana White, who's got a kid at UM now, he was there.
There was a ton of celebrities there yesterday, and it's going to keep going because that's Miami. We got national exposure. We beat Notre Dame, which is like the nation's top team, or everybody loves them or whatever. But, we got to keep it going. I'm not going to predict any more wins or whatever. Just keep playing like that, and the rest will take care of itself. Last year, we destroyed Florida, and this time we beat Notre Dame 27-24. On your show yesterday, I said 27-23, so I was pretty darn close.
Oh, yeah.
And
I said 23-20. You said 27-23.
23, right.
Obviously, we were both on the right track because, there were a lot of other, Miami content creators. And by the way, I'm not throwing shade. Like, I'm friends with all these people. So this is not, don't try to make this bulletin board material. I love all these dudes, but a lot of them were like, oh, Miami's going to win by a blowout or something. I don't know. But then a lot of the Notre Dame guys were like, oh, Notre Dame's is going to be a cakewalk. We're going to blow them out. We're going to take over their stadium. It was like 90%.
Those guys have no clue about the talent on this team. That's
no
why.
clue.
No clue. And speaking of that, what about that bald-headed mongoose who's always on talking about Alabama?
Feinbaum.
Yeah.
He guaranteed Notre Dame would win. Feinbaum said that.
I saw that. And I saw his post-game stuff. He was impressed, but I'm glad we shut his mouth because he thinks he knows everything. And again, this is a guy who doesn't come here. Pate comes here. Other guys come here. Piquel comes here, and they see what's going on while they're practicing in the spring, whatever. And this guy liked what I just said.
Bald-headed mongoose. And how weird is it that I knew exactly who you were talking about? So,
of course you did. But you know what? It's about time somebody shuts him up. He sucked on the Notre Dame Miami game, and he must have his head in the toilet, not the sand, in the toilet after Florida State beat the hell out of Bama.
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of them.
Yeah. By the way, you think does Isaiah Horton have any regrets? Like he left this Miami to go play for that Alabama.
What do you have? One catch?
One catch.
Yeah, one catch for like 6 yards or something. Do I think he regrets it? I don't know how much money he got. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that he regrets it because Alabama's going nowhere this year. And I'm sure the coach will survive, but he's really in the hot seat now.
By the way, shame on me. I pressed the wrong button, and I trolled myself. I allowed this DJ. I should kick him out of the studio. I allowed DJ Ferg's Go Knowles comment to be up on the screen for like 15 seconds. I should have booted him. Should have booted him from the chat. How do you think? Again, the rankings haven't come out, but. I was watching ESPN this morning, and Heather Dinich, who's pretty well connected with like how these polls are going to go. She thinks Miami's going to jump to number 3. Yeah, she said Miami.
I don't see that.
Number 3.
I don't see that. I think Penn State will be up there ahead of Ohio State. Will be ahead of us.
Yeah, Ohio State. I think should be number 1.
I think so
now.
Too. They beat Texas.
Yeah, Penn State probably number 2. So I don't know. Does Miami move up then to number 3?
Well, did they jump LSU? They beat Clemson in Clemson. I would think they're ahead of Miami. I think.
And they're also in the SEC, so they'll probably get favorable treatment. But at least, obviously, we know Miami is definitely jumping ahead of of Clemson because they lost to LSU. And by the way, that was a game that they were supposed to win. I mean, so I'm going to use the same way I would have been really disappointed had Miami lost last night. I'm going to keep that same energy for Clemson that really should have beaten LSU. In fact, they were favorites at home against LSU. Miami were underdogs against a higher ranked team.
I didn't think Klubnik is so great. Everybody's talking about I don't even think he's an NFL quarterback. He looks small. He's okay. I mean, their defense is good, but they lost at home. So that makes me feel real good. Now, I'm looking ahead in the schedule. The week before Florida comes here to play us, they play LSU in Baton Rouge. Now, win or lose, they're going to get beaten up in that game. So we'll see what happens when they come here. But that could be a big factor in the game 4 for us against Florida.
Yeah, I agree with this comment from Dave, who says Carson Beck was the most reliable quarterback I saw. Yeah, I mean, and some of it wasn't just my reaction or yours or Dave's. Like, people were really really impressed with the way Beck played. Like, I saw, who was it, Aaron Murray, former Georgia quarterback, who said, hey, that was the 2023 Carson Beck again. Like, that looked like the guy again that people had on the top of their Heisman lists and first round draft picks the following year.
Right. A lot of the guys on the YouTube, they made, like Peyton, those guys, they said the same exact thing. And you and I said that for a while. I told you months ago, as long as he's healthy, I have no concerns with Carson Beck, and you agreed. I have none. He's fine. Last year was a fluke, and one or maybe the TV guy said last night, everybody blames him for last year. It wasn't his fault. The offensive line was a joke. The running game was a joke. The receivers were a joke. You can't blame it on him. Last year was not Carson Beck playing poorly. He got hurt. That was the big concern I had. But he's healthy. You could see it, and he didn't have a lot of time to throw. There weren't that many bomb attempts. But
he stood in that pocket and made some throws where a lot of other quarterbacks would have panicked and bailed on the play.
Yep. So, as long as we keep playing like that, we're going to be fine. I don't care who we play, because that effort was incredible. We didn't have any of those big lulls. I thought maybe when it was 21-14 and 24-14, we were going to have a lull on defense. And they got that one guy wide open. He got to like the one or the two. Done. And you know what else? Every time they were inside the 5, they didn't score in the first play, I don't think. We had him second and third down, and they scored. So even that is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Well,
and Heatherman, kudos to Heatherman, because I don't even know if we've mentioned his name in the 37 minutes we've been on, but Heatherman, wow, these guys totally believe in him. And I told you when we got Damian Lewis, the defense was totally going to be different, because between him and Jason and Heatherman's approach to this, I knew they were going after people, and it's exactly what they did.
And Bruce, the defensive tackles did a really good job, I thought. We mentioned Justin Scott forced that fumble. David Blay had a big tackle on penetration. Ahmad Moten did well. Like, Miami's interior defensive line, they held up. We saw Armando Blunt kicking inside. Like, I thought Miami's defensive line did a great job against, again, one of the best offensive lines, maybe the best they're going to face all season long.
It's the effort. Now, with the next 2 weeks, well, you keep saying how good South Florida is. We'll see.
Yeah, they're going to be a test. We're going to win. I mean, we beat Notre Dame. Of course, we're going to beat South Florida, but it's not going to be a cakewalk.
Right. But look at all these kids now that got their feet wet yesterday. And look at all these kids are going to have their feet wet, more experience next week and probably the week after before we play the Gators. Really important. And what's his name? Lightfoot?
Marquise Lightfoot.
He got in there too. Now, I saw him. The quarterback was running to the left. And that kid, I thought that kid was like a safety or something. He is fast. He pushed the kid out of bounds. The quarterback was trying to turn the corner. He couldn't. So even a guy like that has got some game experience. It could only help. And everybody that bought into Heatherman's scheme, they believe it now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. Bruce believes in it. We all should. Want to send a huge shout out to everyone who joined us here in the live chat. Like, we've had consistently over 1,100, 1,200 in here a couple times. We thank you all so much. And, outside of that one ridiculous Notre Dame podcast, I appreciate we have had some civil conversations with Notre Dame fans in here. I don't know how many of you are actually in here today after the loss.
Whoa, time out. What happened with the Notre Dame? You did a crossover with them,
Oh,
right?
Not that one. The guy Locked On Irish, pure class.
Okay.
Tyler Wojak. We
Then
had
what
an
happened?
awesome.
And
I'm
could
not
we
talking
see
about
this?
him.
Which one?
Yeah, no. So it was this other, like, it wasn't a big pod, but there was this one Notre Dame podcast that went viral. Again, it was not Locked On Irish. That show is great. Check
Were
that
you
show
on that
out.
show? Were you on
No,
that
I
show?
wasn't on it, but
Oh,
the
okay.
clip went viral because these guys were like, they were actually like serious talk. They referred to Miami's players as uneducated thugs. That's what they
Oh
were
yeah, I
saying on
saw
Did you
that.
see that clip? Like, I think those
Not
guys are
intelligent,
probably
not uneducated. They said not intelligent.
unintelligent. Yeah, unintelligent. And
Wow.
I'm pretty sure those guys are in witness protection now. They deleted their whole podcast. Like, they deleted their show.
Yeah.
In Wit Pro now. So outside of those clowns, I have had a lot of civil interactions with Notre Dame fans. So I appreciate you guys. Of course, I appreciate Tyler Wojak from Locked On Irish, who we did a crossover episode with last week. So, and I appreciate all of our Locked On Canes fans.
Hey,
Make
how
sure you
much money
subscribe.
could I make if I get a T-shirt with Feinbaum's picture and put bald-headed mongoose on it?
You would be
Because
a
a lot of fans
billionaire.
are commenting about what I said.
You would be a billionaire by next week. If he doesn't sue you like for some kind of a trademark, you'd be a billionaire.
Free speech.
That's right. You're a lawyer, so you would know. We'll
Yeah,
talk
I'm not
to
worried
everyone
about
next
him
time.
suing me.
Yeah, huge thank you and shout out. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure if you're listening to the audio version, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And
Hey, are we doing this again tomorrow while we're on the air with all these people live? Are we doing a show tomorrow too on a Truth Teller Tuesday or not really?
let's do it. I don't know.
I think 10 o'clock because I have an 11 o'clock hearing that I have to appear in.
Oh, I need to do probably a little either earlier or later because I'm doing a guest appearance on somebody's show right at 10 tomorrow. So we'll
hold on. Let me
I'll
check
have
it.
my people call your people.
You said I could do 10.
No, I can't do 10. Hold on. Let me end the show so we're not planning.
Well, I have an appointment from 11 to 12.
Okay, we could do it after 12 then.
Just text me.
I'll text
Call
you.
me
We'll
or
figure it
later,
out.
whatever. I'll do it with you tomorrow.
We'll
I think
figure
this
it
is
out.
great. Listen, I want to thank all these people that comment.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of them. And it's great to be a Miami Hurricane. And I've been texting all of these former player guys, and it's, C4L, it's Canes for life, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I really, this to me brings it home. We rallied, and look at the love that we're getting and that the Canes are getting. And it's great. I'm so proud of everybody. You guys, thanks for watching, listening, and commenting.
Thank you. And thank you, Truth Teller. We'll talk to everyone tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the official Truth Teller Tuesday. So Bruce is going to be back on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.